last but not least, I got really, really, really excited with this news, guys. Like, ungodly excited. And it's twofold. So remember last week how we talked about Lucasfilm Games is ramping up production. They're like, yeah, we're thinking about doing some stuff. Well, I thought that they were just going to do stuff with the Star Wars name, because when we hear Lucasfilm, we think Star Wars. Psych! Lucasfilm also does Indiana Jones, remember, guys? Because Lucasfilm Games is developing an Indiana Jones game. But also, they came out like 2 days later and said that they're doing an open world Star Wars game from Ubisoft. So Lucasfilm Games, I remember a few weeks ago, I gave crap going, I don't think Disney cares about video games and knows how much money can be made from them. I think they're realizing how much money can be made from them, and I think the licensing issues from EA are not going to be there anymore. I think everyone will be able to pitch their ideas for a Star Wars game to Disney, and going forward, I think we're on the cusp of it. I'll dive more into what I think we can expect, but Michael, I know you're probably really excited about these because you're always down for more Star Wars games. The Star Wars game supposedly is from Ubisoft. The Indiana Jones game is supposedly from Bethesda. Which of those two sounds more exciting to you, and what do you see for the future of Lucasfilm Games?
So I normally would default to the Star Wars side in this case, but I'm actually more excited for Indiana Jones because of the publisher and studio. Bethesda has a much better track record as far as critically acclaimed games than Ubisoft. Ubisoft does great stuff, but their open world, third-person sandbox things are very repetitive. I mean, if you've played The Division, you've played the rest of their games as of late. Watch Dogs, Division, are basically there's no difference between them. And so I'm less enthused that that particular studio picked up the Star Wars game. However, even if it's not the most compelling way to tell the story in this open world third person shooter sandbox, it's still Star Wars. It's going to look great. It's going to have some big support behind it. So that is exciting in and of itself. But Indiana Jones, that for me, considering coming from Bethesda and their track record, it is very, very intriguing to me, especially with what's the era going to be? Who are we, what age are we playing in? And then just the story, the narrative itself, that is so cool to me. I mean, these are obviously multiple years away. My guess would be at least 3 years away from now because of how much time and development they will need.
Maybe some of us will have a PS5 by then.
No, that's hilarious. So I'm really looking forward to what they have in store. I mean, games in the next few years are going to really, really start to hit the entertainment industry pretty hard, and I'm actually really looking forward to it. So this is great news. A little hesitant on Ubisoft and Star Wars, but hey, you got to show me, you got to prove it to me first. So I am moderately intrigued.
Yeah, I'm always excited for a new Star Wars game. That's fine. I'm actually much, much more excited for Indiana Jones. Star Wars, I'm not as excited for this one because we've had quality Star Wars games recently. Fallen Order's awesome. Battlefront 2 is the redemption story of all redemption stories when it comes to video games. I feel like there's another one that came out recently. Rogue Squadron.
Squadrons.
Yeah, Squadrons. It's getting pretty good reviews. We've had good Star Wars games. We have not had an Indiana Jones game, period, since Lego Indiana Jones, and before that, some crappy game for the Wii. We have been so deprived on Indiana Jones. It seems like Lucasfilm has, as they usually do, they put all their time and energy into Star Wars because there's a lot of storytelling you can do there, and kind of neglect Indiana Jones, which is one of the most beloved franchises of all time. Now, I think it's funny that when I posted this news to the Uncharted Media Facebook page, somebody was just like, man, it's just going to feel like a Uncharted clone. And I just put in the comments with the gif of Emperor Palpatine. It's ironic. Because, Uncharted stole nothing at all from Indiana Jones whatsoever. But also, if Indiana Jones replicates or duplicates some of the ideas from Uncharted, I don't care. I will not complain about plagiarism because it would fit too well. I think it'd actually be a funny coming full circle. because Indiana Jones inspired so many treasure hunters going forward. Like, I think Brendan Fraser's Mummy movie takes a lot of inspiration from Indiana Jones, Tomb Raider, Uncharted, and I love all of those. I just love treasure hunting stories and games. It's why Uncharted resonates with me so much. It's why it's Uncharted Media here. I just love treasure hunting stuff. Indiana Jones is one of my favorite franchises of all time. Before we have our poster that we have in our living room right now, we had a Raiders of the Lost Ark poster in our big, huge movie-sized frame poster. I'm just really excited for this. It's been so long since we've had any Indiana Jones content, and also I've been sitting on this joke for a few days now. Just because it's Bethesda doesn't still mean it's not an indie game.
Oh, okay. Get out.
I have been sitting on that for days. Doesn't matter what studio's developing it. In the end, it still qualifies as an indie game. I don't care if this is just an Uncharted clone. Uncharted does it so well that you'd be smart to clone it from them. But also, it's Indiana Jones. He's a classic character. Just give me some fun bullwhip action, and I'm fine. There's a lot of different routes you can take. There's a lot of book material. Wow, it's a very long time ago, but I did a episode, not a podcast episode, but just a video. Maybe I'll link it in the description of pitches that I would like to see for future Indiana Jones movies when they were talking about Indiana Jones 5. Do the same thing for the video games. Have them look for Atlantis. But my top pick, either movie, better yet, game. Indiana Jones looks for Excalibur before the Nazis can find it and use it as the ultimate weapon. You're welcome, Bethesda.
I don't even know what Excalibur is.
King Arthur Excalibur?
Yeah, I don't. I'm sorry, you're talking to a novice here. I'm not the biggest.
The
Indiana
Sword
Jones
and the Stone.
fan, so.
Just, I know it doesn't have actually any major weapons, but say at least in this lore, the old legend with King Arthur is whoever pulls Excalibur from the stone and wields Excalibur like Mjolnir, basically, rules all of Europe. What if Hitler, like he was looking for, like the Ark of the Covenant, is looking for Excalibur so he can rule Europe? Tell me he wasn't interested in Europe back in the day. The story writes itself. You're welcome, Bethesda.
Well, that's actually really good. Can you just go be on a creative team? You're wasting your talents on podcasting. I swear you need to be a writer or at least be a part of a story team.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.